So everyone knows Désiré Doué, right? PSG, France, Champions League, back-to-back winner, massive talent. But the interesting thing is, he's not the only Doué people should be watching, because his older brother, Guela Doué, is quietly becoming one of the most interesting defenders in League 1. And I don't think this is just a brother of a superstar type story. That would be kind of lazy. Doué has his own profile. He's 23, plays for Strasbourg, represents Ivory Coast, and he is mainly a right back. But that does not fully explain him, because he has played as a right back, wing back, centre back, and even higher on the right side. And that's what makes him an interesting player. He's not just a normal fullback who overlaps and crosses. He's more of a hybrid defender, physical enough to defend, technical enough to progress play, athletic enough to cover big spaces, and flexible enough to play different roles depending on what the team needs. So in this video, I want to look at Guela Doué properly, not as Désiré Doué's brother, but as his own player. So Guela Doué, came through at Rennes and then, of course, moved on to Strasbourg. And since then, his profile has started to round out. And that is the key phrase with him, round out. Because earlier in his career, you could look at him and say that, the attacking side kind of stood out more than his defensive side. The energy, the overlaps, the ability to get up the pitch, the wide running. But now, since being at Strasbourg, you're seeing a more complete player. He's still aggressive going forward, but he's also taking more responsibility defensively. He's played 24 League 1 games this season, 2 goals and 6 assists across all competitions. You can see now 34 appearances, 2 goals and 7 assists. I mean, that's pretty good output for a defender, especially someone who plays at fullback. We know what some fullbacks are on, in the world of football. The output is not the main reason, though, that he is interesting. I feel like the real value is his profile. He's quite tall, who can defend aerially, win duels, play progressive passes, cover centre-back spaces, and still give you threat on the outside. That is not common for a fullback profile these days. So let's take a look at his style of play. Now, as I mentioned before, he is quite a tall defender, and he's not just a touchline fullback. He can also tuck inside as a centre-back. He can play as a wing-back in a back five, and he's even been used higher up as a right-sided midfielder. And that kind of tells you the kind of way that managers view him. He's trusted in different zones, and for me, that only usually happens when a player has a strong base. And with Doué, that base is his physicality and his security. He's strong in duels, he can defend his box, and the aerial numbers, they're pretty decent. 2.53 aerial duels per 90 with a 63.7% aerial duel win rate. For a right back, that's pretty decent because it means he's not just a useful against small wide players, he can defend back post situations, he can compete when teams switch the ball, and if he plays as a right centre back in a back three, that height and dual power becomes even more useful because he's not only a defensive athlete, ball playing side is of course important. That's probably the part of his game that makes him more of a modern fullback, because he's not a fullback who only receives wide, runs down the line and crosses. He can play passes through the lines. He can play inside. He can help the team progress the ball from deeper areas. As you guys can see, the graphic has him in the 92nd percentile for progressive passes completed. That is the standout stat because it tells you he's not just safe. He is helping Strasbourg move up the pitch. And when you watch his role, it makes sense. He can receive as a right back, but he does not always need to bomb forward straight away. Sometimes he can hold his position, wait for the angle, then punches a pass into midfield or down the line. And that is useful because modern fullbacks need to be more than just runners. They need to solve pressure. They need to create passing lanes. They need to help build attacks. And Doué has that in his game. When I'm looking at his weaknesses, I guess he's not an elite ball carrier yet. As you can see, 30th percentile for progressive carries. So if you are expecting a fullback who can constantly drive 40 yards with the ball, that's not really his game. He can carry, he can dribble, he wins some fouls, but his progression looks more pass-based than carrying-based. And that's important because shapes how you view him as an individual. He's not just a flying attacking fullback, he's a defender who progresses play more with his passing, timing, and positioning. And that is why he could be very useful for a team that wants control. Defensively, he gives you a lot. As you can see, 8.25 defensive contributions per 90 in Ligue 1, 2.18 tackles, 1.18 interceptions, 4.32 recoveries, and 4.49 clearances. So trust me, he's active. He gets involved. He doesn't just want to wait for the game to come to him, but there are still things to clean up. He commits 1.83 fouls per 90 minutes. He does get dribble past 0.87 times per 90, and his defensive dual win rate in the uploaded percentile graphic, as you guys can see, sits at the 44th percentile. So while the tools are there, he's not perfect defensively. And that is the balance with Doué. He looks powerful, aggressive, and versatile, but he still has moments where his defending can become a bit too reactive. Sometimes he steps in, sometimes he gets drawn into contact, sometimes he relies on his physical recovery instead of killing the danger early. And it's not a disaster. I mean, he is 23, but it is the difference between being an interestingly hard defender and becoming a proper top-level fullback. I feel the best role for him right now is probably as a right back or right wing back in a team that allows him to kind of mix the roles. Let him defend wide, let him step inside, let him play early, progressive passes, let him attack the post, let him use his athleticism without asking him to be a pure dribbling fullback, because the profile isn't flashy, but I promise you it is very useful. So in terms of looking at a final verdict for Guéla Doué, I think the key is not to try and judge him for his brother. I mean, Désiré is, of course, the superstar between the two. He's an attacker as well, the creative player, the one who gets the clips. But Guéla has his own thing, and his thing is modern defensive versatility. Right back, wing back, right centre back, athletic, strong in the air, progressive passer. He's got a good engine. You know, he's got a useful final third output, and he's still improving. He's not perfect. The defensive duel numbers can improve. The fouls can come down. And if he becomes more secure as a ball carrier, the profile gets even better. But you can see why clubs would like him, because players like this are valuable. A fullback who can defend like a centre-back, pass like a build-up player, and still give you output going forward. That is the modern game. Not always spectacular, not always clean, but very useful. With Strasbourg, Ivory Coast, and the Doué family name bringing more eyes onto him, Guéla Doué is definitely one to watch, because yes, he runs in the family, man. But this is not just about the name, the player is interesting as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people. Would you like to see someone like Guéla Doué at your club? Do you think he can fit in your team? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Keep the same energy, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys real soon. Peace.